Hi, I'm Miles from Carp School and I'm going to show you how to tie the claw rig. One of my favourite rigs, really aggressive turning mechanics, helping to prick those really wary carp. So the first job is to tie a small loop in the end of some supple braid. You can use plastic coated braid, but here I'm just using some supple braid material. And we're just going to fold it over and tie a small overhand loop. Like so, pull that down tight, snip the tag end off. So that we know how long to create the hair, we put on the chosen bait, in this case a boilie. I think this rig works but best using a heavy bait. So a bottom bait, generally a bigger one. This is an 18mm bait. Okay, we now need a small piece of silicone, silicone tubing, so that we can adjust where the hair leaves the shank of the hook. This is really important for this rig. I've put small pieces of silicone, as you can see here, on a small splicing needle. I find that's the best way of getting the silicone onto a supple braid. So we're just going to slide that over, like so. And slide that silicone all the way down to the bait. Leaving the bait sitting on my fingers there, and the silicone on my forefinger, I'm going to bend the braid over the top, hold it in place with this finger. What that does is pull the braid over to one side of this silicone tubing so that we're sort of leaving as much of a hole down the middle of there as possible, because the last thing I want to do is get this hook caught up in the braid as the point goes down. So trying to avoid the braid, I'm just going to push that hook down inside there like so and bring it round just beyond halfway of the bend like that. I like about 1 centimetre between the silicone and the bait, and then I'm going to bring the braid along the shank of the hook there. And we go ahead and tie a knotless knot. Tag end goes down through the eye of the hook that way, so it's going down towards the point, like so. Remember, when tying a knotless knot, that there's a gap on this side of the hook eye, so the wire of the hook comes along, comes round, and then gets pushed in there. So there's potentially a little gap there. So make sure that when tying the knotless knot, you come around the back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I just hold that in between my thumb and forefinger, leaving me a free hand. Find the tag end and push that back down through the eye, again coming towards the point of the hook, and pull that in tight. Okay, so that's where we're at this point. We're now going to add a piece of shrink tube to create an aggressive angle of where the hook link leaves the eye of the hook. And just slide that on like so. With this size 8 hook, just over 1 centimetre seems to be about the right length. With bigger hooks you're going to need slightly more, smaller hooks perhaps slightly less, but that's probably 11 or 12mm. And we're going to adjust where that silicone leaves the bend of the hook, pretty much halfway around the bend. And we're now going to take this to the kettle, and so that we can hold the shrink tube in the steam and shrink it down tight so that it holds this angle. What's really important when you're steaming it over the kettle is you can see there that I'm going to pull it dead in line with the point of the hook. If you hold it off to one side or the other, then you really do change the characteristics of, and the mechanics of how this rig works. It's so important that it gets pulled down exactly in line with the point of the hook and at an angle about like that. So we're going to take that over to the kettle now and steam it down. So using the hot steam from the kettle, making sure that we're pulling this round in line with the point of the hook and pulling that hook link at a really aggressive angle. You can see there the shrink tube coming right down and pulling nice and tight. And you can see there the aggressive angle of the shrink tube and where the hair leaves the bend of the hook. That every time wants to turn round and aggressively turn round into the bottom lip of a fish. That is a fantastic hooking rig called the claw rig, and one that I use quite often in my own fishing.